welcome all of you to my YouTube channel, Animals and Pets with Partha. Today I'm going to take you back many years ago. We had what we called is the Hathibagan market, the pet market in Calcutta, which started small when I was a little kid, when I was say 4 or 5 years old and a toddler, and I would be going to this market with my father. It is situated in North Calcutta, just across the Radha Cinema, which is very old Calcutta, original Calcutta, the old Calcutta, which is now the northern part of Calcutta. And this small pet market, which was initially you could see some aquarium fishes that people would have bred at home, or there was a sort of aquarium shops and other things in the market area inside the Hathibagan, and outside, of course, on the veranda where now stands permanent hawkers who sell clothing and other stuff. We had a pet market that would be set up every Sunday morning. So that was a small market, but then it grew with leaps and bounds, and the variety of animals grew. Initially there were a few puppies that were coming from Darjeeling. We used to call them bhutias. They would be sold, and then of course it grew to such an extent that it had to be shifted out to GALIFF Street, which is now known as the GALIFF Street Pet Market. But to us, we still often refer to it as Hathibagan Market. But now the GALIFF Street Market actually was formed not by real choice of a good place, but actually it was just the idea to shift it out of the city, which was creating a lot of traffic problems with the growing shops and growing merchandise, like the livestock that was means that place was really overcrowded, and it came to a standstill on Sunday mornings. Then what happened? This was shifted to next to the unused canal, which is not really clean or anything of that sort, but it was a place which was not really frequented by people, and a place where they just shifted the market without much of a thought. Well, the market has grown manifold, and it has the opportunity, it has the scope of growing 10 or maybe 20 times if given the space. That market is now, it's very difficult for people to visit because unless you're prepared to push your way through large crowds that actually visit that place every Sunday morning. And there are traders coming in, and I'm told from 3:30, 4 o'clock, people set up their shops, cages, bird cages, fishes, aquarium, all the accessories, whatever you can think of. Then plenty of dogs. There are 14 permanent dog shops, I am told, and then there are hundreds of people coming in small cages, bringing birds, rabbits, guinea pigs, all because of the space constraint. They bring them in small cages, packed, fully packed, and in this very hot, humid climate. Animals become sick, and I've been running a veterinary clinic for the last 50 odd years, and I have had numerous people who bought animals from this market, and then they fall sick, which is very obvious and understandable. See, hundreds of people come and visit, they touch all these puppies, and this, whether the hands are clean or not, whether they've just touched an infected dog and they're touching these puppies. No, God alone knows. And then finally somebody picks it up and takes it home. A small child comes, picks it up, and then with a lot of love and affection they carry it back home, start feeding it, and then the puppy falls sick and it suffers for a few days. You call the doctor, and a lot of treatment and everything is done, but in most cases they can't be saved. And what happens is this a little kid which has actually taken this little dog home with a lot of expectation to rear a small puppy, dies before even they are able to make their hobby grow. And they may not ever go for another puppy after this initial shock. So what it is, we must give a thought. I'm actually showing you all these visuals that you are seeing are taken by people that I've sent people to take them at around 1 o'clock in the Sunday afternoon when it's very hot, it gets very hot, and a lot of people have already dispersed, and so the crowds become very thin. So this is actually shot on a very hot, humid summer day, and you can see that how people are still thronging there, and you name it, you get bird food, anything that you name, you can possibly find there, plants, trees, whatever in that small space. You cannot drive in. There is no way that you can take your car, and I would very much love to go there every Sunday, but I am I'm repulsed. I means at the thought that to wade through that huge crowd. And after this pandemic, the COVID-19, people have become very health conscious. And when you come in such proximity that you have to push through the crowd, means it is does not in any way means you may be infected by pandemic and the COVID-19 or whatever, maybe some other disease that may have to come, because nowadays people like to keep a little distance from unknown people just for health reasons. So this I have been to many pet markets around the world, in Indonesia, in Thailand many times, and in Australia many huge pet shops and pet places, So I have actually had gone through in the Philippines. I've been to a lot of these places also, and I have seen that there actually a lot of thought goes behind it, and a huge markets premises where people can come and they can sort of display their products, their livestock, and people in Thailand, people from all parts of the world fly in just for the Chatterjee market, and they can buy, they can a lot of these Thailand bred animals go across the world. They are very big exporters of ornamental fishes, and India also does produce a lot of ornamental fishes, but then the quality of that ornamental fishes are not of that high standard. So primarily because we do not have a very good export-import policy on livestock and pet animals, birds and aquarium fishes and things like that. So unless you are able to import quality stuff, and then you have a proper system of sort of marketing them, and then showcasing them to the international world, you do not get the buyers. See, people for buying livestock, it's not a product of mass production, where you can produce refrigerators or Panasonic sort of air conditioners and things like that, or a car that every car will be the same. But here in livestock, quality is very important, and people who want to buy, most of them want to see it physically. And so that is very important in being able to buy good livestock and be successfully buying good livestock. So in that case, you need a place where all these animals and birds and things like that can be actually exhibited. This market, this has an immense potential to generate a huge employment and also revenue. Not only does it have a really very large domestic market, but it also has a very, very great potential for export. This has a very huge potential for export, and what we need to do, see, most of these livestock and other things are bred in the countryside, and not so much in the city, because in the city people are crammed up in small apartments and they only enjoy them as pets rather than breeding and propagating them. And usually they come from the villages, and where there is a lot of space and people have the time, and there are the opportunities of because livestock breeding, of course, most of them will require a lot of space. And if you can set up a market whereby these animals and pets could be exhibited, and so they could be purchased directly. The interested people go there in the small district markets, and on a Sunday, if you have this large market in the city of Calcutta, as it is usually happens in GALIFF Street, but then if you really give them a big space where there can be permanent shops, which of course on Sundays people can keep dogs in air-conditioned facilities and all that. It is very important for the people who are actually going over to buy these animals to see them in the best of condition. You cannot realize that what is the requirement of a rabbit when you see 10 or 15 small little bunnies packed up in a small cage, and somebody pulls it out of that cage and throws it on top of the cage, and that's how you buy it. Then what you do? You realize this is how they need to be treated. So you buy a small little cage and you shove your bunnies in, and then you bring it home and then you start feeding it. Of course it is going to survive for a few days or maybe a few months in such torture, and then it is going to die. So this I have seen all my life happening, and it is time that we are able to educate people, and we are able to show them the ways how these animals and pets should be treated, kept, reared. If at all they have to keep a pet, they must do it in the right way. But in that case, we have to give them an example. Some people, of course, because of the advent of the blessings of the in the digital world, you are able to access the best ways. You can learn how to keep all these animals and livestock, and a lot of young people actually are able to develop their love for animals and pets by seeing these YouTube channels and other all these videos on animal and pet keeping. But then our market conditions cannot be such for a very conscious society, for if we consider ourselves enlightened people, if we are we are not in the medieval period anymore, we are not in the olden days anymore, we are a modern society, and we must take care of animals, we must teach people. Then, of course, the other thing that I would like to very much tell you, that a lot of animals, the native animals, they are under CITES, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, which bans totally all native animals and pets and birds to be captured and kept as pets. And only you are able to keep exotic animals, which there are a lot of list of that also. But you see nowadays also there is a lot of this trade of all these banned species of birds like the common ringneck and other things that you see a lot of people keep in their houses. It is actually extremely illegal for the traders to trade in them, and also we must not encourage by buying them. When you have the option of buying exotic birds and other things which you can keep in cages legally, I would definitely appeal that we should discourage all this illegal trade. In my travels to this Thailand Chatterjee market, which is possibly the biggest livestock market, pet market in the world, you can see a lot of these Indian birds, small chicks, which hardly feathers have grown in them, and they are hand fed and they're taken from through these porous borders of Bangladesh and Myanmar and Nepal, and they make their way to the Chatterjee market. And so all this, I don't know when it's going to stop. It's been carrying on for ages. You have the star tortoise and so many other things. If you go to the market, you can find out. So obviously they have found their way out of this country and into those into that market. A lot of these birds, and we have people who earlier days actually thrived on this profession. There was a particular class of people who were engaged in bird catching these wild birds and selling them in going around in through. You could see them carrying those birds in on their shoulders. They would have a wooden stick. On that they would hang their cages and they would be selling them around. So all that, of course, you don't see because that's totally illegal. But that community still exists, and they are still in the same trade. It is only for the administration to find out, because that is not my job, which I cannot do. But I can only enlighten people that such things are still going on. So with this, I hope, of course, this has been a long video already. I do not want to take it and drag it further, but if the GALIFF Street market, which is, I would presume, the biggest pet market in the country, Sunday pet market in the country, where every Sunday you have this huge number of people coming to sell their produce from far away distant villages. They need more compassionate treatment. They need a bigger space where they can come with their animals and birds and other things and sell it to the people. And I'm sure hundreds of times more people would visit this market if it is done in a proper organized manner, and the animals are not in stress and in suffering at the time of being sold. And even if you see the dogs and the puppies, which are quite expensive, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 rupees worth of puppies, which is being sold, all these different varieties from Siberian Huskies to German Shepherds, then Golden Retrievers, Labrador Retrievers and things like that. Which is, of course, sad. There's so much overbreeding of these purebred dogs that most of them find their way to the pet market and are sold from cages. But anyway, that's all for now. That's all for today. And please look around, and I appeal to the animal-loving fraternity of Calcutta, of India, that we should look at our pet markets and see if we can give them better treatment and a better example set a better example for the people who are going to be our future enthusiasts for animal lovers, pet lovers to follow. Thank you and bye-bye. Please subscribe to my channel, press the bell button, and of course like and share it. I'll come back again with more episodes on animals or different subjects as I do all the time. Bye-bye.